G'day and welcome back to RC Model Reviews. I've got the Eachine Wizard X220S on the bench again, and I have, if you watch my XJet channel, you'll see that on the weekend I just decided to fly this thing to death because it's got some shortcomings. I've been through those, not going to go over them again, but it was a machine that I thought could have been a whole lot better. But I thought, well, we'll just, put it to the test. I'll see how long it keeps flying if I just thrash the arse off it, which is what I did over the weekend. Now, I had to make a few changes. Those purple props, these things, they are just death on a stick. They fracture, they're inefficient, they're crap. Okay, someone said they're a copy of another prop. Hope the other prop that they've copied is a hell of a lot better than that one, because those purple ones, yeah, the wrong plastic has been used, so they stress and they break easy and they just are so inefficient. So I put on some good old Dell or Gemfan, I don't know, what props I had laying around, and someone asked, what props do you like the best? Well, I like the best the props that have no missing blades and aren't bent. That's really my take on it. But I will be doing a full review of different props because you've got all these new Cyclone props and all these other props. So I'm thinking I might do a full review. I'll go out and buy a whole bunch of props and line them up, see which seems to be best on the test bench and in the air. But I mean, remember, I'm Team Nano. But sometimes that's a good thing because, Mr. Steele and Chad Nowick, they might have a particular preference for a prop, but these are the top 1% guys. If you're like me and you're not in the top 1%, well, maybe my perspective is just as valuable or even more valuable than the uber good guys because, they demand different things from their props. What I demand from my props is that they go round, they don't break, and that I get reasonable flight times and still get peppy performance. I'm not really that concerned about the final nth degree of tunability or anything. I just want props that work really well, that are reasonably priced, and are tough as old boots. So I'll review the props available from that perspective. Anyway, back to what I did on the weekend. You'll notice that this has a broken cable tie where the GoPro camera, where the, the Runcam 3 mount used to go because, yeah, eventually it did crash. It died. Not in the way I thought it would. I figured that it would probably be that 4-on-1 speed controller the wires had touched and she'd smoke up or something. But no, the flight controller, this dodgy flight controller from day one where I had to actually change it and switch to iBus and bypass the inverter, well, it's still got some problems, and some pretty major problems. Sometimes it wouldn't arm, which is a bit of a pain. And also, you'll have noticed on the earlier videos I did that the artificial horizon sometimes starts up at 45 degrees. What is going on there? I've recalibrated on the bench, calibrate the accelerometers and all that sort of stuff. Nah, every third or fourth time, it just starts up with the horizon at 45 degrees. If you try and fly it in angle mode, well, you're buggered because it's just going to bugger off to the side at quite a rate of knots. So it doesn't worry me. I flew in rate mode all the time. But having said that, the flight controller was doing some wonky things. When I was doing some power loops, sometimes it would just go all floppy and fall out of the sky at the top of the power loop. What's going on there? Like when the model became inverted, I'm in air mode, so I should have plenty of control left. No, it just sort of fell to the side and, sort of almost I didn't have control. It wasn't a fail-safe event because that would have disarmed the quad. And I did have a fail-safe event with this FlySky gear. I landed probably 200 meters away and it wouldn't take off. Fail-safed. And in fact, I had to get up to about 50 meters away before it would actually establish a link again. So I'm not that impressed with the FlySky gear. I know other people have had problems with it, flying mini quads, range issues and so forth. It works okay in most models, but for mini quads, I really don't know that it's the best option. And that's certainly that little receiver they're using has had a lot of bad press. So maybe that's part of the problem. Anyway, it's a really bad combination of bits in this thing in terms of receiver. And I just don't like that flight controller. The F4 Omnibus may be a great flight controller, but this particular F4 Omnibus is a piece of shite. And what finally happened was it was starting to get really sloppy in power loops and things. And then on the last flight of the day, I took off and suddenly, whoa, no stability at all. It was just, there was no form of stability. So I over-controlled left, right, upside down, crash, bang. That was it. And now the bloody thing got no, just, if you try and take off, it's just, there's like the gyros aren't even working. So, excuse me, I'm going to have to do a bit of work and see what's going on inside this little beast. But that flight controller, I think she's bin material. She's trash can material. She's, that particular one, yeah, she's no much good. So I've got a Kankoot, or Kakoot from Holybro. The Kakoot, which I'll be reviewing very shortly. This looks really, this is a shizzle, man. It's got the IMU, the accelerometers, on a separate little daughter board. Look at that, see that? Woo, so you get all the benefits of having a completely isolated from vibration. That is pretty schmick. So I'm going to be trying that out. Maybe not on this because this has got too many other problems, but I will be trying this out. I've got another quad there, maybe on my X-Hover 220, 210, 200, MX. What is it, the Yeah, MXP200. Might put it in there because that's the machine I'm dying to upgrade. So I might put that and these DYS Storm motors in my X-Hover MXP200, and we'll just do a comparison before and after because I think it's going to go like a freight train. Anyway, that's something for another review. Put that to the side. As I say, so she crashed upside down. It wasn't from a great height because it only just got off the ground. And of course the side frame came off, as it does, and that in itself, you know, but you've got to start undoing screws to put it back together. If you were racing, if this, you know, because it's being sold as a racing quad, if you were racing this thing around and every time you had a little bit of a tipsy, the side plates fell off, well, you get pretty peed off. It's not a racing drone, okay? It's a peppy machine. It sucks the snot out of your batteries because 2206 motors, and if you use those horrible paddles instead of props, then it's just going to kill your batteries. Absolutely kill them. So I would say, you know, what are you going to do? I don't think I'd like to run it without the side panels on because they add a lot to the rigidity of the frame. Certainly this top member would probably, if you came down hard like this, it would probably fracture. It would bend enough without the side panels on to actually fracture through here because see, we've got these holes for no apparent reason. And this is only glass carbon, it's not pure carbon, so yeah, you get a break. We'll break the top panel. So you've got to keep popping these things back in, which means undoing screws, loosening stuff off, putting stuff in. Yeah, so what's my final opinion on this thing? Well, I did fly it to death. Flew it to death. Didn't take long. It was really only one day of hard flying, and she's toast. Won't fly anymore. I've got to put a new flight controller in it if I feel up to it. If I feel like it's worthwhile. I don't know. As I say, if Eachine send me a new flight controller, maybe it was just a bad one I got. If they send me a new one, I will put it in, and I will continue testing it, see if I can fly it to pieces again. But in the meantime, you know, it's a cheap machine. It's not expensive, but for one day's flying, you know, all the farting around to get it going, and then I got a day out of it. Well, I'd be a bit disappointed, to be totally honest. As I said, if they just paid more attention to detail, it should be a cracker little machine. Now, I've seen a lot of other people saying, this is the best drone of 2017. It's fantastic. It's got power. Yeah, no, I can't agree, but I do see the affiliate links in their descriptions, in the description of their videos, so I can see why they're saying that. Because, you know, some of the things they say are quite legit. It is very powerful. It can be very fast, but it's not very durable, I've got to say. Certainly based on my own experience. But there you go. If you would like to buy one of these, go to one of the other videos where there's affiliate links, click on the link and give someone some money. Why not? I think it was Drone 101. He's done a video of this with 5 cells, and it seems to pep along, goes quite quick, you know. He seems to have similar video issues to me. I notice I've put a TBS Triumph antenna on there. Made a big difference. I think the little pagoda they provide is not very well made, and maybe I haven't tried taking the rubber thing off around the edge. Maybe that's detuning it, but it's really not as good as this by a long chalk. Once I put this on, the video was much better, as you can see in my XJet video. Much better video with this on because I changed it after the first couple of flights, and brilliant. So there you go. That pagoda, it can go in the bin. But the other pagodas, the ones that actually where are we? Well, I've got them lying around here somewhere. Oh no, it's gone. But the original ones that were sent to me by Martin, the guy who designed them, bloody brilliant. I saw it just a minute ago and now it's gone. Who'd have thought I could lose something on this bench? Anyway, the original ones that Martin sent me, bloody brilliant because he's made them properly. Cheap Chinese knockoffs, not quite so flash. There you go. Right. If you've got questions, comments, anything else to say, this will be my last video on this thing unless I get some spare parts from Eachine. So there you go. I'd say, you know, if you've got the money to throw around, buy it. Buy one. You know, find out for yourself what you think of it. But don't take the word of too many. I see Alishanmao's done a video on this. He loves it too. He's got the link in his description. He thinks it's fantastic. He flew it in the desert and he puffed up a battery, and that's a good idea. Go and have a look at Alishanmao's flight and crash in the desert video on this thing. I'll put a link to it in the description of this because you'll see what it does to batteries. It just destroys them. If you want something that destroys batteries, get yourself a Shuriken. Look, the X1. Now, this is just so much better in every way. It's tough, it's durable. I've not had anything break on this one. It flies really well. The flight controller is tuned in. It's just a nice piece of kit to fly. Really flies nicely. So if you had these two on your table here, there is a difference in price. There's a difference in price, but man, the X1 is just, if you want a machine that's really, really fast and enjoyable, it's 10 times that in terms of the pleasure I get out of it. I don't have to worry if this thing's going to fall out of the sky. This thing, who knows what's going to break next. But there you go. That's it. That's the comparison. This gets my vote. That doesn't. Sorry. There you go. But as I say, I will be putting the what are they, Kakoot? How the hell did they get that name? Holly Bro, how do you get that name? I'll be putting it in this thing here, which is the little MXP200, which is a little kick-ass quad. I've had this around for quite a while, and I really like it. I've got the run cam split in this one, so the Kakoot will go in there, and I'm going to put those DYS motors on there. This should be an absolute rocket ship. We'll find out. Stay tuned. Coming up. So this was supposed to be final words on this thing, but it's turned out to be a little bit of a what's coming up. Questions, comments in the usual place. Thank you for watching. Meanwhile, clear my bench, get on with something else. I've got some really cool stuff to get on with, so stay tuned. That's coming up real soon, especially if you like fixed wing. Bye for now.